For today's video, we will be going to talk about Chia and Crypto Explained. What is Chia? Let's get started. What is Chia? Chia has been all the rage recently. They launched their testnet about a month ago and have since made a few $1,000,000 simply by renting out their hard drives. But precisely what is Chia? We had this question as well, and we discovered that there were no videos on YouTube explaining what it is, let alone how to mine it. Chia is a cryptocurrency that runs on blockchain technology and employs the proof of space and works consensus mechanism. Proof of space and work. To summarize, in order to farm anything using proof of space and work, you must be able to store large amounts of data, and then be able to provide that data to prove that you did indeed possess it. For example, the network could contain 1,000,000 terabytes of data, and the protocol may request around 200 bits at a specific location on your hard drive. If you can give it what it originally gave you, it will reward you for allowing it to store data on your hard drive, and for the work you did to put it there. Winning is similar to playing bingo. You fill up your bingo card with the various letters, and then the network chooses which parts are called at random. And if you are called and can prove that you held the information that the network originally gave you, you win. Bingo! Two main processes. So when it comes to Chia, there are two main processes. Number one, plotting. Plotting is essentially storing data on your own storage device. Number two, farming. Farming is the process of ensuring that you still have it on that storage device. So before we go any further, you should be familiar with two terms. SSD. This is an acronym that stands for Solid State Drive, which is a type of storage device that can read and write data very quickly. It is one of the quickest and most cost-effective methods of reading and writing data, although there is a limit to how long these devices can be used before they stop working. HDD. The acronym HDD stands for Hard Drive Disk and refers to a type of storage device that can read and write slowly, but is reliable, inexpensive, and has been used for years. For the same price, an HDD can store significantly more data than an SSD. Plotting. Plotting is the process of storing a large amount of data on a hard drive. Essentially, you are doing a lot of math and filling up a hard drive with ones and zeros. You could use a hard drive disk during the calculation process, but it would be inefficient. You could also use a USB thumb drive, but it would be very slow and unreliable. Most people use an SSD for this process because it produces the finalized plots the fastest. Plotting, on the other hand, is very resource intensive on SSDs. In fact, some people plot so much that the unit becomes completely worn out. A pixate in a game Minecraft is a very good analogy for this. The more you use the pixate, the more it wears. The pixate will eventually break and disappear from your inventory, never to be seen again. The same can be said for a plotting SSD. Over time, it will break and become unusable. If you plan on plotting, make sure to check the SSD's TBW, or total bytes are written before it dies. This is the number of bytes that the manufacturers claim you can reliably write before it fails. If any cost, the TWB of an enterprise-grade SSD will be much higher than that of a gaming or personal desktop SSD. You may be wondering why it wears out so quickly at this point. Without going into too much detail, assume you want to farm Chia on 100 gigabytes of hard drive space. You would actually need 256 gigabytes of storage on an SSD so that I can do all of those calculations and run a specific algorithm quickly to figure out what it needs to put on the hard drive. So it requires roughly 2.5 times the space to manipulate it. Once it has finished modifying all of these ones and zeros to what they need to be, it moves from the temporary storage device, which is the SSD that is plotting on, to the hard drive that it is farming on. Farming. So let's get to farming. According to our research, farming is the process of having the network verify that you actually did the work to store the ones and zeros on those drives. For example, in plotting, you save the data to your hard drive, whereas farming simply checks to see if you still have it. Using an algorithm, the entire Chia network will randomly select a portion of the network and see if they still have the data that it decided to give them. If it is, the person who kept the data there will be rewarded with Chia. So consider it this way. If you want to farm asparagus, you must first purchase land, then purchase equipment to cut down all of the trees on that land, then hire a specialist to ensure the soil is in good condition, and finally, purchase an expensive tractor to till the asparagus and possibly other tractors, actually to plant the asparagus seed. This is a substantial amount of work. This is referred to as plotting. After all of that planning, all you have to do is wait and maybe let it rain so that the asparagus can grow. Chia equals plot. Chia farming is simply letting the plot sit there. You don't need to do anything else to it, and it's easy to maintain. The cool thing about farming is that it is done on a computer hard drive. These hard drive disks are typically slower, older pieces of technology that are significantly less expensive than newer solid-state drives. This means you can plot to a hard drive and will join the Chia network for the rest of the hard drive's lives, which will be quite long due to how large the Chia network is growing. So you may be wondering why I would burn out my SSDs and fill up my hard drives with useless space. Farming Chia is extremely profitable right now. In early May of 2021, according to current calculations, an 8 TB hard drive, which currently costs around $200 on Amazon, can earn approximately 0.73 Chia per month. In case you're wondering, the network is 2.9 EIB in space. If you sold those Chia at today's market price, you'd make $809 per month. This profit rate will decrease as the network expands and more people join it. And you must also account for the fact that the price of Chia may rise or fall. Chia versus Filecoin. Chia isn't the first cryptocurrency to use storage hardware as its primary network. Storage, Filecoins, and Chia are among the large market cap coins doing the same thing. One intriguing feature of Filecoin is that instead of storing random data, it keeps useful data on your hard drive. You are effectively renting out your hard drive to someone who wishes to pay for it. Of course, the data is now encrypted and distributed across a network of computers around the world so that there is no single point of failure, but it has been around for a few years. However, due to the size of their network, mining and farming Filecoin is not nearly as profitable. This is fantastic. One of Filecoin's primary goals was to develop a decentralized storage system that was less expensive than Amazon's web servers. And you already know what they did. Despite the fact that Filecoin is decentralized and not regulated in the same way that Amazon servers are. Amazon is still 100 times more expensive to store your data on that Filecoin's decentralized storage system. From our discussion, what have you learned? Please let me know by leaving a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to Metaverse for more videos like this. Thank you for stopping by to watch. See you in our next video.